Hi everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. So I am here today doing a little bit more work on this journal, the Snow White's Dark Cottage journal. So yesterday I finished up getting kind of like all of the pages ready that had things that I wanted to cover, like text or whatnot. And then I also remembered yesterday as I was, I think, falling asleep, that I had a Snow White and Rose Red vintage book that was really nice, that I thought would go really nicely in here. So it was from this book, and I'm going to put this inside the journal because it's lovely. MCMLXVII. What is that? Let me see if I can ask Echo. What year is Roman numeral MCMLXVII?
From wikipedia.org. 1967,
Yes.
Mvnoltsvai was a common year starting on Sunday of the Gregorian calendar.
Echo
The
off. Okay, yes, 1967. Okay, I really need to relearn my Roman numerals. I can honestly, every time I go through this, I can feel Mr. Moran, my elementary school math teacher, just grinning and like shaking his head furiously at me because I knew this, but it had to move out of my brain for more pertinent information to my life, like, you know, I don't know, nematodes. Okay. Anyways, so I've got all this ephemera made. I did this morning. So look how pretty that is, and it really just goes so well with the book. And I made this fun painted and bubbled kind of texture. I really love like doing acrylic painting, and then the natural little lines and bits that you get that are a little more wet, you take your heat gun just gently. I also wear a mask when I'm doing this because, you know, although it's just acrylic paint, there are fumes definitely, so wear a mask. And then you'll get these fun little bubbles, and it's really cool. And it's actually still really good to write on. I just kind of flatten it out, and so it's not like, you know, super textured or anything. And so I covered these with packaging paper, and I made a few other things, a little flip out, a couple of those actually, a pocket, journal card, pocket, another tip out, journal card, this is going to be a round pocket, and then this probably, I don't know if it'll be a pocket or a journal card, and then another flip out. So that was the stuff that I harvested and used up that Snow White and Rose Red book. So I'm excited for that. So I think what I will do next here is just take a look at what is logically next. So I have a couple options. One, I can make these kind of white pages more interesting, or I can start adding ephemera, and I feel like I just want to add ephemera. So this is like one of my favorite steps where I get to just kind of start adding the pockets and things. So I'm going to do that now because I think that's more interesting than watching me like, although I have to show you my die technique that I'm using for back pages of like digitals and things. So maybe we'll do that another day. Okay, let's look through here and see what we need. So most importantly, I want to spread out, like for every sort of, every type of asset, as I like to call them, that I use in a journal, I like to try to spread it out through the whole journal. So one of those assets is the ephemera that I made from this book. So I don't want to put it all in like one, you know, spot, right? So I feel like this would go nicely in here. So I will give that to this pocket. Then I'll look through here and see if there's a nice spot to maybe put one of the tip outs like this. I like that there. And it's good because it's brown on brown, so it's kind of like one cohesive piece of paper if you're going to write on it. Where did I put? Oh, here it is. I need to fill my art glitter glue bottle. Again, I've been using way more art glitter glue, I think, lately than I usually used to in the past. I think I just really like it so much. Okay, and I may have to pause to go get my recycle bin. It was full, and I have it upstairs ready to be taken out to the big one that we keep outside, but I forgot to actually empty it and bring it back down. Yeah, so I'm hoping today is like the calming of the week's storm because I am so tired. I had to do blood work yesterday, and I have this kind of routine test that I have to get done every now and then because of a condition that I had when I was pregnant. They like to check me to make sure every now and then that, you know, I'm not still dealing with it. And I've been doing very good. I don't think I am. I think everything's okay. But, you know, they have to check me. But it involves, like, a really, like, difficult process in the morning of, like, you know, first of all, fasting, then having to, like, drink something gross and then wait for hours. And, oh, it's all that fun stuff. Our bodies change so much when we have children. It's a lot. This I quite like as a pocket there. Yes, let's do that. And we'll make it this kind of a tuck spot that would allow something to stick out the side if needed. So yeah, then we ended up going, I kind of worked on the fly yesterday, which was actually good because when you're sitting in a car, you can get a lot of work done. So that's what I did. I got a lot of work done. This is the thing for anybody who is a naysayer about working at home. I am living proof. Like I would say on average, I've thought about this a great deal, and I think I probably get like 3 to 4 times as much work done in a day as I used to when I had to go into the office every day, because there's no commute, and like that's 9/10 of the annoying. And also, like, I feel like people who go into the office, there's certain behaviors that you have because you've just endured a long, annoying commute, you know, like needing to get in and get settled and then probably get coffee and, you know, chat with some people because you've been away from, you know, civilization for a while, stuck in your car, probably frustrated and, you know, car traffic. And, yeah, I think that honestly it's great because you can get up, you can start if you need to work a little earlier, which I do in the morning. I get a bunch of stuff done because it just makes my day better. You know, and like also I would say, Joe, though, on that same note, to just be very careful with your time working at home, because you can actually just spend way too much time working because of the convenience, and that is a really good way to skew what someone should be doing on a normal day. You don't want to like overshoot that target so much, because then of course, you know, new targets become new expectations, and then all of a sudden, you know, you were getting so much work done, but you were working 10 hours a day, and then like everything changes and you end up having to try to keep up with that pace. And especially if you go back to the office, then you're going to have like, you know, your commute plus this, you know, expectation on your work pace. And so just, you know, be reasonable, take your breaks, go for a walk, you know, do all the things you need to keep on living. And yeah, that's my cautionary tale. Because, you know, I think there's a lot of paranoia out there about people working at home, that they're not doing what they, you know, should or something. But my experience, honestly, is everyone's doing more and better work. So, yeah, I am not of the belief that it is some kind of an evil. Not at all. What did I do here? A pocket. Okay. And how many signatures do I have left? 1, 2 more, and I've got 1, 2, 3 more pieces, 4, 5, 6 more pieces. Okay, yeah, so I'm tracking good. It's good. I'm going to put this one on here, I think. Yeah, I like that on there. Maybe. Somewhere in the middle might be nice. Or potentially this one. Yeah, maybe I like that one better because it flips out that way, and I like that. So yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, work. So yeah, I think that I have noticed so much more quality in the work from so many people since we started all working remotely. I love it. I also do not subscribe to the idea that you must be in person to have, you know, a meaningful emotional experience with your colleagues. I think honestly, since all this started, I know more about my colleagues, and I spend more time just chatting with each of them privately, like, you know, on our messenger application, just asking about their life and making sure everything is good and knowing what's going on with their kids than like I ever did when I was in the office. Because like my role, people were just constantly coming to my office and talking to me about, you know, work things that, to be completely honest, I think a lot of people do that sort of thing because they're bored and they want to get up from their desk. And there is literally nothing at all wrong with that. That is a completely understandable feeling because, like, human beings were not meant to just sit stationary, you know, forever. Like, it's just not the truth. I need to get rid of a little bit of this edge here. And I've already stitched it and I don't want to just like cut it. So I'm actually just going to glue it down like so. And I think that will just be a nice little edge. You could have also, I could have also just glued the two edges and made like a little tuck there. But I think I like it as just a little fun border on the back. And I'm leaving all of the threads long on this. I kind of like that for this book. I don't always do that, but I often do because I just like how it looks. Okay, where do we want to put this? Maybe up here so that we keep the roses. For rose red. Okay. And then the other night, went for a little drive the night before last with the family. We had a couple of errands to run, and we drove through Mississauga and we saw the most beautiful fox, the most beautiful little fox just running along. And he ran across the road in front of us while we were just kind of stationary parked. And then just in a little neighborhood, and we were coming from a playground, and he ran across the road. He was so beautiful and healthy looking. It was so nice to see. And then he ran down along the side of the road and sort of curiously stopped and looked at us. And it was just so nice. He was so cute. I love little foxes so much. My daughter does too. She is so funny. She has such an eagle eye. My goodness. I wear glasses, so does my husband, and so do both of our parents, all of our parents. So I don't know, hopefully she has some kind of a genetic eye thing that doesn't degrade like our eyes did. Either way, it's okay. Glasses are honestly something I have a lot of fun with in my personal style. I always get the "I love your glasses" comment, so I'm doing something right, I guess. I do enjoy glasses. So we have one more signature and we have three more pieces actually. So I think what I'll do here with this one is have I added two to this one already, or just one? I was saying something. I will finish my thought in just 1 second here. There, that's what I was looking for. This. I'm going to put this in this big pocket that I made. So anyway, so we were at my doctor's office one day. I think everyone was getting a flu vaccine. And my doctor's office is like on, I think the sort of like a high second floor, like a building that has sort of high ceilings, and it's on the second floor. And we were sitting in these chairs waiting, and she's looking out the window, and like super far away you see this little tiny, thing, like, and she's like, "Mom, look, a fox." And I'm sort of like, "What?" And then I see it and I'm like, "Wow, your eyes are incredible. Don't ever lose that." Holy moly. Pop that in there. But yeah, they're such sweet little animals. This one I think would be really pretty there with the white of her dress and the lace. I already love the direction this journal's taking. I'm like so excited to be making it. It's nice to use the Stamperia, like the scrapbook paper, the full size of it without having to cut, because this is going to be a tall journal. So it's quite nice. Okay, so I've got all of that in. Now, I have more work to do, I think. I don't think I have I have a few things, maybe, that we can use that are ready to go. Let's just check what those things are. So I obviously have lots of little tags. I'm not sure what I want to do with those yet. Those will come a little later because I usually don't use them just as is. This is quite nice. Do something with that. This one I'm going to use this side of, and I think it needs more because I just don't like the colors of that. It's just not my thing. This is very cute. what am I going to do with this? A pocket maybe? We'll do a little round pocket with that one. This all needs something. I'm going to set that up here. This I can use as is. Same with that. And this, I already need that into a pocket. This I need to figure out what I want to do with. Oops. Why did I save this? Oh, I liked the little flower, but I don't think I want to use that, to be honest. I don't think I find it very inspiring. This I will figure out what to do with. This is ready to go. These are two. This also, let's figure it out. Okay, let's figure out all of those things. Okay, then I'm done with this, so let's go back to the beginning so that we evenly distribute what I'm going to be working with. So I've got this little bit that has these sweet little gnomes and a little deer here, and what I am going to do is find a place that I think needs a pocket in here. Right there would be perfect. Now this needs something more to make it finished. I think like I want to put a piece of the Stamperia kit on there. Maybe one of these labels would be fun, but I'm going to grab some fabric too. Just one, actually no, not fabric. Maybe this paper, and I'm going to just tear like that, I think, just to add like another layer of grass to this. And then I think I want to fussy cut. I left some of these not cut because I thought I might want to leave some of them with that background, but I think I sort of just want to fussy cut with a little bit of a border, so I won't get completely rid of that like knitted texture in the background. Yeah, I really need to go get my recycle bin. I have nowhere to put any of this. So let's put that on there, and then I'm going to grab some ink. Up there. Do I still have my green ink on the table here? I do. Perfect. That's my boo-boo from my needle yesterday. No fun. But I had an amazing phlebotomist. I have to say she was amazing both times. I have a condition that I refer to as baby veins because I don't know. I just like, I think I have like one vein in my entire body, and it's like buried somewhere in this arm, and it's like the only vein. And so I've had so many bad experiences getting my blood taken or getting like an IV if I ever needed, like for the time that I've had surgery. Like I just, I don't have very good luck with that kind of thing. And I honestly really dislike getting my blood taken for that reason. Because if you've ever been jabbed like multiple times and you come home with an arm full of bruises, you know it's not fun. And phlebotomists, I always joke that they don't understand that like their job is very risky because depending on how people react. Oh yeah, I've had some phlebotomists where I feel like, you know, I know I'm a slightly more difficult case. I totally get it. I'm a very patient person, but some of them have just been like unreal, terrible. And like so much so that I've had other nurses react with like, what is she doing? Like, so yeah, I'm very careful nowadays, and I immediately kind of give out like a disclaimer, a friendly one. Like I just say, just so you know, I have very tiny veins, and I think I only have like one good vein, and it's in this arm, and you know, and I give them my spiel, which I'm sure they hear the same kind of thing from so many people. Like it would not surprise me, but I do it for a couple reasons because, it's not just the stress of like me experiencing like pain or whatever. It's also very stressful for them when they miss. So, because, they don't want to hurt you either. And then I think like I've experienced a few times where like I'm being super nice to, I'm never mean with anybody, like, in healthcare environment, obviously, or really in general, anybody if possible. But yeah, I've had a lot of times, several times where they've said, okay, you know what, let me get so and so. She's really good with these kind of things. So that's always a nice thing because it makes you feel like, they don't have overconfidence about the situation and they'll just do what's best for you as a patient. Like, especially if they're just training or they're new. Like, there's been times, especially when I was pregnant, and you're getting a lot of medical stuff done, and you have to get blood work really quite frequently, especially with my first pregnancy. I did because I had a more high-risk pregnancy with the first one. So I had to get lots of blood work to check things. And so when you're pregnant, typically you end up in a lot of situations where you're working with like a teaching environment, like OBs are teaching, or, you get student nurses and that kind of thing. And so there were many times where I would just be like a guinea pig, because I understood that like what I was doing was beneficial to, the nurses who are trying to learn. And I figure like I can handle a little bit of pain and, it's not going to be too bad. And it never was too bad. I think the worst for me was like when I think I had my gallbladder removed, and the woman who put the IV in was just, I don't know, it was traumatizing though. It ended up that the surgeon actually got frustrated and put the IV in himself. And I surgeons are like an interesting kind of person, depending. I think there's a lot of different personalities out there, but I think surgeons specifically, just because of the environment that they're in, and they're taxed with saving lives and having to do a lot of pretty intense work and stressful work, and also they're celebrated sort of like gods in the in the hospital environment. That they can get kind of big egos and very impatient with a lot of people. Not all of them, but I've actually seen a lot of it myself in my own medical kind of journeys with myself or with my family. And so it was kind of interesting when my doctor just sort of freaked out and said like, forget it, I'll do it myself. And I was like, oh, it honestly made me feel more scared, but I know where he was coming from because he was just watching this fumbling kind of situation. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could be a nurse. I don't have the grit about me to handle all of that. It's tough work. Very tough. All right, so then we have this. This is so cute with this little squirrel. And I feel like this is actually just very cute as a journal card. It was one thing that I harvested that I felt like I didn't need to do a whole lot to, but I do want to just tear the edge off a little. It's a bit wide, and I don't want the glue strip on the back where it attached to the book. So we'll just straighten it up and see. There's the glue strip. Yeah, that's better. And maybe we will we'll round up the corners a little. I love things like this because you can put them in the journal. They're really cute and they are thin, right? Because a lot of ephemera can get thicker, which I love. Like, I love a nice thick sewn piece of ephemera, but I don't want all the stuff in the journal to be that way because you'll get like a really super fat journal, which isn't a bad thing either. I think a lot of people love super chunky journals. I do, for sure. Okay, that's cute. Then, 3 little windows. Okay, what are we doing now? What are we doing? too busy. I think too busy. I do think I want to use like something on this, like maybe clip this as a big journal card there, because it is such a busy page. So I think I'll do that next. So what I'm going to do is we're going to cover the back of this with some paper. I think I have a nice big piece of packaging right here. I do. But yeah, we had a nice little jaunt. We walked in the graveyard in this one city that we like to go to. We had really nice lunch and hung out with the kids, and my son, my 2-year-old, he's really starting to pick up wanting to ride on a scooter. So his sister is like a scooter aficionado. She flies around on her scooter, and so he just got a new helmet, and so we're trying to get him going on the scooter, because he was doing the funniest thing all this time. We go out with them and she scoots around, and he has the scooter, but he holds it backwards. He holds the handles, and then he pushes the whole thing in front of him with like the part you would stand on jutting out in front of him. But he's just loving doing that. Like, he loved it for the longest time. And we were like, you know, trying to show him, but he'd get annoyed and just sort of be like, let me do my thing, right? So we just left him to it, and that's what he's been doing. So then yesterday, it's like something clicked when he saw my daughter. She, you know, got on her scooter and started scooting, and then his was sitting on the ground as we were getting the car ready, getting the dog's leash ready to go for a walk. And so he got on the scooter and he stood on it, and then he, like, my husband started to push him along and like hold on to him, and he loved that. So my husband, his poor back, he did that for quite a while, like for one good long walk. And then my son started to, like, you know, put his foot down and start to kind of propel himself forward a little bit. It takes them a little while when they first get started, right? Because there's a balance factor there that little kids have to understand, that equilibrium. So it was really cute to watch. I think there's like nothing more fun than like watching your kids learn something new or get really excited about something. And yeah, that was my day yesterday. It was a lot of fun. So I'm going to take a little break to go get my recycle bin so that you don't just watch trash amass and finally the camera will be covered in trash. So I will go do that. I will see you in just a moment. Okay, I am back. Recycle bin restored. Yay! Okay, so this is done. I'm going to stitch around it though. All zigzag stitched, so that's fun. I had someone ask me a while ago in comments about how do you prevent or get your zigzag stitches to look so like uniform and neat. They were finding that theirs are kind of like they're too flattened, and they almost seem like they're pulling apart. So my guess, because I've done this myself, is that you might be, when you're stitching, you might be pushing the paper, and with a zigzag, that is a really the timing in your machine is a really important part about getting the shape of stitch that you need. So while it might be okay with straight stitch to do that a little bit, although you kind of shouldn't, definitely don't do it with zigzag. Try to just let the paper sit, and you know, you can hold it, but let the machine feed it. Let the machine do the work. Don't push it, because then you'll stretch out the zigzag. Another thing you can do is you can set the width of your stitch and the spacing of your stitch if you find that it's too far apart and you don't like that, or it's too close together. Yeah, just my thoughts on that one. So what I want to do with this is put it on here, and do I have, I think I have to be so careful. I've like readjusted some things here on my desk to try to like keep my word snippets here, but I feel like it's going to cause me to knock something off because there isn't really room for them. I just want to look. I think I got these. Oh no, those are loops. I thought I ordered round paper clips, but maybe they haven't arrived yet. And these are just silver loops that I'm looking at. You can't even see what I'm talking about, but I'm going to use a rusty paper clip here. I just have to grab one to hold this on. There we go. I'm going to paper clip this up here. So that will be nice. And it's a nice like frame to the whole thing. So love this. Super love this. Just leaving it as is. I'm really happy with that. Now on this side, I'm trying to think about what I want to do. I'm looking at this thing going like, what would I want to do with this? We could have this be like some kind of like a fun writing, a piece of writing space, right? So you could write on here. This could flip out, and I like this torn edge, but I might put lace on it. And then this, maybe what I'll do, let's fold it. Okay, we'll fold this. We'll fold it again just to strengthen up this edge, because this is just like lined paper that I dyed. So it's not like super thick paper, but I want a little bit more kind of girth to it. Okay, now, what do I want to do here? I've got, you know, I could do something fun, like with this, maybe. Maybe down there, that could be fun, and I'll leave this alone as writing space, but I want to put some lace, I think, on this edge, and then on here. So let's see if I have anything here in my scrap lace that's just hanging around that I could use. That one's not quite long enough, almost, but not quite. This one I think will be perfect. Oh, hold on. We have some avocado dyed lace. That's quite wide though. Too wide for this. There's some that's a little smaller. That could go there. And this could go along this edge. Yeah, okay. So what I'll do, I'm going to actually use glue for the one on this edge, because this paper is a little thinner. I don't want to stitch through this. If I was going to, I would reinforce this edge with another piece of paper. But I think it will be nice to just kind of glue it on with some 3-in-1. Okay. To hold it for long enough that it will sit there, and my major objective is not to glue my fingers to the paper, which is what I usually do. And then I end up like pulling it up several times, and yeah, good times. Okay, so that is on there. I have glue everywhere. Good. Then I'll grab my fabric scissors here. That's good. Okay. So that'll be fun like that. Looks good on that side as well. And then this one I will actually stitch on because it is reinforced. Yeah, I'm going to stitch that. I will return momentarily. All right, this is all stitched. Just going to cut the excess off here, and then we will look and see what we have here. Okay, so we have, I think, a pocket with writing space that folds out. So let's glue using art glitter glue, I think. I'll go all the way down this inside edge. Right there. Okay. Perfect. Now, flatten that down. And then I might want to put a little something right here. So I've got this little scrap that I quite enjoy. I'm going to have it there. And then something here from the kit, maybe. Maybe one of these little... can you see that? Let me just bring it up a little higher here. Maybe one of these little lock pieces. Yeah, that's cute. Okay. Let's put this all together here. This little like cluster. Never throw away your book guts, especially this fun mesh on the spine. They're so useful and fun. So I went to an antique store yesterday. I only bought one thing, which I'll show you in a later video I've already filmed, so I won't talk about it right now because it will ruin the surprise. But man, the prices are cuckoo bananas right now of things in general. I've never like gone to this particular store and left with nothing almost. Like I almost bought nothing at all. And what I did buy was a bit of a splurge, but I allowed myself because I'm going to make some digitals with it and share it with others and that kind of thing. But yeah, oh my goodness. And I heard this conversation between like one of the stall dealers and a customer. And he was saying how, he was looking at auctions the other day. Because I think, a lot of dealers, antique dealers, they source material from estate auction, which I used to do when I had my antique market stall as well. But like, I don't know, it's a weird, difficult trickle-down kind of economy these days where it's hard to be a reseller of things successfully, I think, and it's getting harder because things already just cost exorbitant amounts of money. It's a really difficult situation. So I don't have anything to put in this pocket, and I'm okay with that. I'm going to move on to the next signature. So he was talking about, like, he was watching online auctions, and there were some die-cast toys, like things like tractors, cars, and planes. And I know, like, typically a lot of, like, older men collect those things, not to stereotype in any way, but that's who I see buying them, and that's who used to buy them when I sold them. So it's like nostalgia for their generation, right? And so that's who's typically buying them. But these guys were talking about how they were watching these things, just selling for higher prices than ever. I'm looking at this and feeling like I just don't like it. I think I'm going to make something different with this. It just doesn't work as a pocket. I like this little house piece here, so I will keep that. And I'll get rid of the rest. It's just very, very thick. And I don't think I'll be able to use it for anything. So I'll keep that little bit for a cluster or something. So anyways, yeah, they were talking about, they were watching these auctions going for, really high, crazy amounts of money. And it didn't surprise me to hear, because I do bid on a lot of online auctions often. And I've been finding the same. And I'm watching those kind of things going for a lot of money. And, the sad thing is that their value actually is not nearly what people are paying. And that's going to hit them eventually, like anything, right? In the economy, if you overpay for something, like you overpay for a house, and then like what's happening right now, the interest rates are being raised and we're headed for like a recession, you're going to have a really hard time recouping your money, and certainly having any equity that you can later, what am I doing? Hold on. I'm gluing the wrong thing. That you can later use to buy something, a larger house or a more expensive house. So it's the same with this market, of collectibles and things, because prices all over are going a little crazy. So, the vendor was saying, I don't understand. Is it young people? He's like, do people just not give a care about their money? Why are they, because he sells these things and he doesn't sell them for so much money, and he has an antique stall. And you'll find that when you sell stuff like that, it's really hard actually to predict what people will and won't buy, and also what people will pay for things. And that can change quite rapidly too. So he was saying, his theory is that it's young people being, irresponsible with their money or something, right? But I actually disagree. I feel like it's probably not that. I think when estate auctions moved online, when the pandemic came along, it started this craze of online auction bidding. And while a lot of younger people are in the resale business these days, because, you've got to find so many ways to try to hustle to make money, typically a lot of them are into clothing items, shoes, stuff that's like trendy, not like old, die cast toys. It's not really their thing. They have no nostalgia for it. So I'd be surprised if it were young people, and that's certainly not who I see picking up these auctions. I never really see younger people. But I don't know. It's weird how people always want to assign like a subculture to something. I don't know why. It happens with every generation. It's that darn kids get off my lawn. I think we all grow into that at some point or something, or hopefully not. I don't ever want to do that. Okay, I'm going to stitch. I'll be right back. Okay, so that has been stitched on. I'm going to just clip off the excess fabric from the back that I don't need there. There we go. But many years ago, a really nice old friend of mine, he has been an estate auction, or like a, what's the word, I guess, an estate dealer for many, many, many years. He's an antique, buyer and seller, and he did it mostly on eBay. But he's the kind of person like that kind of goes with this idea that, this theory that like cash is king, right? So if you have enough cash, you can go to somebody's estate auction, like, an old farmhouse, and just buy the entire thing, right? If you have cash. And then you have a lot of work ahead of you. Like, it's more work, but you can make a lot of money, right, doing that. Because you're, I guess, you're getting everything. They're not looking through it. It could be the situation where it's, a loved one is deceased and it's an old farmhouse, and the people who are related to them, sorry, are not close to them, and they have no desire to sort through their stuff. So like, there's a lot of work involved. You've got to be fast, and you've got to have money essentially to be in that business. And he said it was an interesting thing in the last, like I think this conversation, I probably had it with him like 10 years ago, how antique buying had changed a lot with the youth. Because see, he never got into the kind of stuff that I collected. So I think that's where his comments came from, which was like, nostalgia stuff, decor stuff, like with the rise of Pyrex many years ago, and also vintage toys in a different way, not your old 1950s, like, tin toys, but like things like My Little Pony and, oh goodness, I'm trying to think of like all the toys that go for crazy amounts. I only learned about some of them when I got really into, learning about vintage toys, like from the 80s, like things like Lady Lovely Locks, and, there's these toys called like keepers, where they're like these, they had like a belly that you could open and put your things inside, and like a lot of stuffed animals, things like Popples and Care Bears and such. So with the rise of that kind of a thing, he didn't understand that much. He felt like the way people used to buy antiques was like, a young kind of couple, like a married couple in like, the 60s or something. The way that they would buy is like they were building a life, right? So they were looking to buy stuff in a way that like they would save their money, and they would purchase antique furniture for their home, and that's how they they used to buy antiques. Like that was the way. You didn't like buy things like that. So he, I think, felt like, because of his experience, that it was kind of wasteful investing, that why are people spending their money so foolishly, kind of thing. But I don't know. I don't necessarily, like, I understand where he's coming from, and I agree with the sentiment that it's really different. But I don't know that it's wasting money necessarily. I know I see people, like young people, resell things that you would never think, for crazy amounts of money. And I don't know. The vintage resale market is an interesting one, and it's more interesting now than I think it's ever been, just because it's getting so tight. Like, it's getting so much more difficult to do, but it's also getting so much more popular at the same time, which is an interesting thing. I like that on there. It's like a little tuck spot space. I don't want to use up all the writing space, but I mean, I'm not. There's a ton of writing space in this book. I like to use these kind of pages for this too, though. Oh, and that does look nice on the wood and lace. That's actually really pretty. Let's do that. I'm just going to trim this gnarly edge off here. Then I'm going to do the gluing in a way. I'm going to glue this all down completely because it's thin and I don't want it to get torn. So it will be entirely fixed down. Then the rest, I will just do the edge here. Yeah. Yeah, so maybe I'll just kind of do like a little more glue right there. So that whole piece is affixed down. Okay. Good, good, good. Now, we'll just let this, whoops, don't break. Where's my, I always see Tina at Shabby Dabby Doodah using like, you know, like a baby wipe to put the glue down. And I'm always like, that's so smart. Why don't I remember to do that? Okay. Now I want something more on this one at the bottom where this little slot is. So I'm trying to decide what that something should be. I think I'll do like a little collage possibly. Not with that, too big. I have a little clock. Then some really nice book spine. Just going to kind of flatten this down a little. Put it behind here. Yay! I love it. Okay. Yeah. This morning I was watching Unsolved Mysteries, the new episodes on Netflix. It is such a nostalgia thing for me. I remember being a kid, and I don't know, there's probably lots of you out there who did this too, but like I was pretty young when the show started, like the original, like Robert Stack, you know, the Unsolved Mysteries that will always live in my mind with the spooky music and all of that. So this is giving myself some age here, but like it was the early 80s, I guess, and my parents had a little black and white television. It was a little red plastic television, and it was in their bedroom on like one of those little wire kind of stands from that time. And I would sit on their bed and I would watch Unsolved Mysteries in the dark, and like that music, you know, that haunting music. Oh my gosh. And I loved Robert Stack. Like there's a few people in this world, like older men, whose voices give me so much comfort, and it's the weirdest thing. So one is David Attenborough, because like who does not love David Attenborough? Come on. He's number one for me. He's the person that I want to like live forever, because I don't know what I'll do with myself if we ever lose David Attenborough. He's like, we have to protect him at all costs. Another is Robert Stack, who, you know, did Unsolved Mysteries. That's all I really know him for. And the other is actually Bill Curtis, who did like in like the 90s a ton of, I would say, like early like crime television on like A&E when it still used to have intelligent programming. Yeah, it was like, you know, he would do, like, he had like a courtroom show. Like, it wasn't anything like gruesome usually. I mean, when he did Investigative Report or Investigative Discoveries or something, it did get a little more gruesome, but like not crazy gruesome or anything. But I don't know. I think just the familiarity of him. I've always been really into documentary, no matter what the topic, like science, crime, like all sorts of things, just everything documentary nature. And so, yeah, those three are like very comforting to me. And so I've been like watching the new one, and it's just giving me all of these nostalgic kind of feelings about life. Memories. Okay. I need to put this here, but I don't want it to say memories. I want something else there that's more fun. Let me grab this. What's this say? The sky is filled with sparkling light. I don't want to cover up these baby foxes, and I won't if I use that. Actually, that's great. Okay. So let's collage this down. Okay. We saw so many chunky, adorable squirrels yesterday. Oh, they're so funny at this time of year when they're getting everything ready for like winter. Where we walked in the big graveyard, there's like a ton of horse chestnut trees, and while there's a ton of trees, there was not a single chestnut to be found. I could not get over how efficient those little critters are. There's all of the like jaggedy, the skin of the horse chestnut, and that's everywhere. And there's some like nibbly bits here and there where they've had a snack, but you could not find a single chestnut in the whole graveyard. It was so efficient that they've taken it all away. Okay, what else do I want to put on here? That would be a cute like belly band, but I think it's too wide for this journal. Would it be a pocket or like a side kind of pocket maybe? That would be cute with something tucked in it that way. I think I'll put that on this white page. Unless there's another page that I should put it on. Actually, I might put it on this one. I'm not too into this bird cage. I feel like I would like that there. And it goes nicely with the avocado dyed paper. So I apologize if you really love this bird cage. It's just not my style. So I'm going to cover it up. And I'm only gluing the two sides, so here and here, so that when I do put something in there, it can peek out over here if it wants to. Like so. Yep. Okay. All right. This is the last signature, so I can use maybe this one here, because we've got, it's too blendy, I think. It doesn't stand out enough. You gotta do something there, though. I wonder if maybe, what if I just get a piece of paper that's a little more plain, like packaging paper. We put these guys on top of the packaging. Yeah, that is actually kind of cool. Let's layer it up a little more though. So we can go to here, I think. And then maybe some of this fun green handmade paper. Put that on here. And just get like a nice triple layer kind of pocket. Yeah, I like that. And you can still see the cute little doves over here. Alright, so I'm going to do some stitching. Okay, so I've stitched these two papers together. Then I want to add this to this. So, kind of glue. glue that here. I guess I can glue these hats completely. I didn't know if I had enough enough room, so I'll add more glue to the edges here. And we'll glue that down completely. Then I want to put a little something on the front here too. Maybe another word snippet. Oh, here we go. This one's perfect. Into the wood to gather sticks. That's actually from the Snow White and Rose Red book, so it is relevant. Let's take this glue and glue down this handmade paper for like a little cluster on the front of this. Okay. And then I will cut the excess kind of papery bits here. And then I will attach the pocket this way. Here my husband and my kids puttering around upstairs. I've given my husband a job to do today for me. I have a little free library outside, and you know, every few years you've got to do maintenance on them. So this year I want to put a new roof on it, so I've got all the roofing, and I'm going to do that myself, but I need him to take the door off for me because I want to put a new latch. I want to put a new door entirely, and we have to cut, like, it's like a house shaped piece of wood that we cut a new one because the original one, it had a very thin like outline to it, and then like plexiglass, and it's just, I don't know, it's just not that durable. So we got a bigger, thicker, better piece of wood, and we're going to cut a circle and then install it on there, and I'm going to paint it. It's like a bright yellow color. It's a really cute library. Yeah, so that's the work. I love my little free library. It has this, I did decoupage all on the inside of it from children's books, which is kind of fun. That's cute. Let's do a little pocket there maybe too. And maybe some words. Good-hearted. I like that. I don't often use just single words, but I like it in this case. And I also think I'm going to scrunch this a little. I want to attach it back here. And have that there. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So we'll put that on there and we'll scrunch it a little. I'm definitely going to have a lot more ephemera I need to make for this book, which is good because I love making ephemera. I've also been making a lot of ephemera kind of in my spare time, so I'll see what I've made that might work in this book. Because I find when I'm doing videos like Tuesday 10 even, and I'm making a journal, like I sort of subconsciously just, the way that I make things, they end up being kind of relevant to my journal theme. It just works that way. It's funny. You get into a groove, right? There we go. A little pocket there. Just give it a press for a moment so it sits down nicely. There we go. And I could find somewhere for this journal card, I think. And if we have any empty pocket here, we do, right there. Let's put this journal card in here. It's kind of cute there. Okay. Okay, so we got a lot done today on this journal. Next, I'm probably going to figure out the rest of the ephemera and doing the back sides of the blank pages with some kind of a fun pattern. for some of them anyway. And then I have to figure out what I'm going to line the inside of this book with, or how I want to do that. And then also these flaps here, what do I want to do with them? I want to have some kind of a flap there, but I'm thinking maybe some red lace or something. Like I don't know if I have very much of this, but I quite enjoy this color. I'm thinking about like that color, if I have some. If not, I'll figure out something else that's nice. So that, I think, should wrap up today, because I have to get started on other stuff for a little while. But I will be back again shortly. I have a bunch of ideas. It's funny, I had a day or two this week where I was feeling really like, I don't know why. Well, I do know why. I had a few things on my brain, and I don't do well when I have too many things loading up in my brain at the same time. So I've resolved many things, and now I feel kind of like refreshed again. I'm like ready to do a bunch of stuff, and my ideas have all come back to me. So yep. Okay, so that's it for me for now, but thank you so much for hanging out with me on this little journal making adventure here, and we will continue along with this cutie, and I will talk to you all very soon. I hope you have a lovely day, and if your weekend is coming like mine is, I hope it is a lot of fun. So bye for now. Have a great day.